Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back to our channel, the Eaton Squad. So on today's video is the latest travel advisory from the IATF to fully vaccinated inbound travelers to the Philippines. Details coming right up. So this news today is going to be quite bizarre because of the latest guideline by the IATF to fully vaccinated inbound travelers to the Philippines. They have removed the RT-PCR testing and they have shortened the quarantine period that you guys will be spending in a hotel or facility. We are going to tackle all that on this video, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up that you will be definitely disappointed of what the new guidelines by the IATF to all travelers to the Philippines. So here we go. So let's read the statement of this new guideline from the IATF released yesterday. The country's pandemic response task force announced on Friday that a fully vaccinated inbound travelers who have been inoculated in the Philippines only need to undergo a 7-day quarantine instead of completing the 14-day facility-based isolation. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the new policy does not cover returning Filipinos and foreign nationals who have been fully vaccinated abroad. They still have to undergo a 10-day facility-based isolation and take a swab test on the 7th day. For inbound travelers who have been vaccinated in the Philippines, an RT-PCR test or swab test will only be done if they exhibit flu-like symptoms during their 7-day isolation in a quarantine facility, the Interagency Task Force said. It added that a person is considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after having a single-dose vaccine or the second shot for brands requiring 2 doses. The inbound traveler must carry a vaccination card which must be certified prior to departure and checked upon arrival in the Philippines. So, let's discuss that one by one. So, according to them, fully vaccinated traveler or inbound traveler to the Philippines, which the vaccine is inoculated in the Philippines, meaning that you got your vaccination here in the Philippines, will only go through 7 days quarantine period only, with no swab testing required unless you show a flu-like symptoms during the span of your quarantine period. So please take note, only those who are vaccinated in the Philippines, meaning you got your vaccination in the Philippines and not abroad. You only have to go through 7 days quarantine instead of 14 days. Now, to those returning overseas Filipinos, foreign nationals, and overseas Filipino workers traveling to the Philippines who have their vaccination abroad, not inoculated in the Philippines, did not get the vaccination in the Philippines, and got their vaccination abroad like in Dubai or USA or Canada, you guys will go through the 10 days mandatory quarantine in a facility or hotel and continue the remaining 4 days at home monitored by your LGU. I know it doesn't make sense, but it looks like the IATF only recognizes those travelers who have their vaccination in the Philippines to be exempted on the longer quarantine period this time. Those that did not have their vaccination in the Philippines, unfortunately, will have to go through the longer quarantine period by the Philippine government traveling to the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. So I don't know why they implemented such new guidelines separately to those who were fully vaccinated abroad and to those who are fully vaccinated here in the Philippines, because the rollout here in the Philippines, the vaccination rollout here in the Philippines is quite slow, unlike the rollout of vaccination outside the Philippines, or I mean abroad. So I don't know why they really require that, and I don't know why there's a separation to those inbound travelers to the Philippines who have been vaccinated abroad and who have been vaccinated here in the Philippines. So to those that did not get their vaccination here in the Philippines, you guys will have to go through the longer quarantine period, and you still be swab test on the 7th day after you arrive the Philippines. I know I will get a lot of negative comments on this again. Hey, why is this going on? Why do we have to go through a quarantine again that we are fully vaccinated already? Please don't shoot the messenger. I am just telling you guys what the news or what the new guidelines is. It's all in the hands of the IATF on what they decide, what will be implemented to all travelers to the Philippines during the time of the pandemic. I myself is not in favor of the new guidelines too, because it doesn't make sense. Why do they have to separate this kind of rules or guidelines to those who are fully vaccinated abroad and to those who are fully vaccinated here in the Philippines? They got their vaccine, so those who got their vaccine, those who got 2 doses of their COVID-19 vaccine are fully vaccinated individuals. Whether you get it abroad or whether you get it here in the Philippines, still you are a fully vaccinated individual. But I don't know. Sometimes they make bizarre guidelines to all travelers to the Philippines. It's kind of like telling you, hey, we're closed, come back next year or come back in the next 3 years, because this is our new rule. Take it or leave it. If you don't like it, then don't come. If you like it, then you have to go through the hassle, the expenses, the headache, and all that stuff. But I really wish that they have thought about this, that they have really went through what they are trying to implement on new guidelines, because it's not easy to be quarantined for that long. It's very expensive. So, but right now, that's what they implement starting today. And what's confusing in this guideline is that they have implemented a new guideline for a shortened quarantine period for fully vaccinated travelers to the Philippines whose vaccination was inoculated here in the Philippines. So, not all here in the Philippines are fully vaccinated already. It's like the frontliners were vaccinated first, the second group were the senior citizens, and the third group are the ones with morbidity, diseases, and stuff like that. Those type of individuals doesn't really travel to the Philippines this time, so it really doesn't make sense that they implement that. Those that comes home to the Philippines right now are those that worked abroad or residents abroad who wants to visit their family here in the Philippines, and those people have already had their vaccine where they are residing right now. For example, in the States or Canada or in Australia and all that. But they will not get their vaccination here in the Philippines. And on the rule also, if you are getting the 1-dose vaccine, you have to have the vaccination for at least 2 weeks already before you are considered fully vaccinated. And if you have the 2 doses of vaccine for COVID-19, you have to have the 2 doses already before you are considered fully vaccinated already. So, I don't know, Duque or the IATF is probably drunk while they are doing these guidelines and has implemented to all, and everybody is going to suffer again on this new guidelines by the IATF implemented to all inbound travelers to the Philippines. Sometimes I want to give up on all these updates by the Philippine government because it doesn't make sense sometimes. They would come up with a new proposal, they would come up with a new idea, they would come up with new suggestions and stuff, but nothing has really been implemented or nothing has really been approved that would benefit the travelers also to the Philippines. They think, especially returning overseas Filipinos, they probably think that we just pick our dollars in our front yard, but it's not. That's our hard-earned dollars that we work so hard while abroad so we can enjoy our vacation in the Philippines. But this time, looks like that's not going to happen. So what do you guys think on this new guidelines by the IATF that they are going to implement starting today? To me, I don't like it. And I really hope that they would start thinking, and I'm really hoping that they would start considering everything, check some options for travelers to the Philippines. But please hang in there. Hopefully, in the next few days or in the next few weeks, we will have good news again. Because I can't really say this is good news because it would still give hardships to inbound travelers to the Philippines. This is our update for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family whom you know that can use this video as reference. If you are new to our channel, welcome. We do travel updates, and if you are not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you will be notified on updates like this. And to our subscribers and new subscribers, thank you so much for the continued support and trust to our channel, the Eaton Squad. I hope to see you guys in our next travel update. Stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless everyone. Bye!